Steal this. This is what I wanted. This guy. This thing with clay on it. Get out of here, clay. All right, my friends. I'm ready to dive in. How long have you been doing real estate? Licensed? Still in school? Licensed? Good. How long have we been licensed? Excellent. 6 months. Good. About a month. Your name?
Nate.
Nate? Cammy?
Chris.
Chris. Nate, Cammy, Chris. I got it. Done that. Well, that's when you stand.
Kain pa.
Trying to fix it. Sorry. That's better.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, we did it, Ritz. I just clipped it to my shoulder. As long as it doesn't fall off, it's gonna go crazy. The OCD is killing me on this, but whatever. Ignore the fact it's crooked. We're gonna get started. Officially. We've got caffeine. We've got markers. 2 of them work, 2 of them don't. And we're gonna find out which 2 are which. I know because my last class, I cracked a joke that they didn't have good markers, so I brought my own markers and then I got up to teach and I was like, dude, roasted. I'm thrilled to do this today. So my name's Carl Spencer. We haven't met. Nate, Cammy, and Chris. I'm excited to have you guys. I teach on a pretty normal basis. I'm gonna text my lunch, tell them yay. I've been doing real estate now for April makes 8 years for my license. If anybody wants to make $20 and do my C classes for me, just kidding. Just kidding, recording. It's against the rules. It's a joke. Before that, I would train real estate agents, even though I wasn't an agent. Had a prospect. Worked at a company where they did a software that helps with lead generation and cold calling and working in that space. Joined Keller Williams in 2020. So that's 5 years, and yeah, March will make 5 years here, which I'm thrilled about. Does everybody know what KWRI is? Understand some of these acronyms?
KWRI.
Yeah. So we are KW Westfield, a part of KW Utah, which is like all 7 of our offices all merged under one bunch. And then we have the headquarters where Keller Williams is, which is out in Austin, Texas. And that is what they call KWRI. I think it stands for, it's Keller Williams Realty. It's either incorporated or it's international. I think it's incorporated, if I remember right. Whatever, who cares? Probably about almost 2.5 years ago, I stepped away from my role as the productivity coach. That's your Cameron. And I decided to go start some stuff, see what I could figure out in mentoring and teaching, because I like to teach. I stumbled into a place called BYU. You guys know what that is? Okay. And I went to their athletic center because I had an assistant at the time that sent a message and said, hey, my name's Carl. I want to mentor and teach, volunteer my time. We ended up discussing and talking about a thing in this space called NIL. NIL is name, image, and likeness. It's what pays collegiate athletes. Fun stuff. I developed a program that pairs teaching Keller Williams principles and what we do and learn as real estate agents to athletes across all the different sports and what they do, and trying to help and mentor them in understanding the importance of real estate, the reason we need to have it, the wealth of it. They can earn a referral license if they'd like, and or start a career. Yes, I love D'Angelo. Where is he? Message him. Nope. But I want it. Thank you for reminding me that. Be like, dude, coming to my class? I won't.
I did an open house with you on Saturday.
Oh, I love that. So I started that in 2022, and since then it has launched. We are now at 210 universities across the nation. We teach, we mentor, we facilitate and educate in all of the things real estate, and it's super fun. So for what I do now, I sell real estate, just a normal real estate agent, super fun. And on top of it, I am a director for KWRI, where I run a community called KWNIL. That's the internal brand to the actual company we have, which is NIL Real Estate. It's kind of exciting. We quite thoroughly enjoy it. So, and in fact, D'Angelo, I love that kid. He's here because that's how we met him. We had approached BYU in 2022 and taught a little bit, some super intro stuff, and he's remembered it when he was like, what do I do next? I remembered working with my old business partner, and I reached out to him, was like, what should I do? It's like, come on over to KW, learn all your stuff. Today, we're supposed to be talking about growing your database. And I'm like, growing your database, you could sum this class up like in like 5 minutes, right? You could just say, be social, be friendly. When we dive into classes that are on specifics, I like to really try to tailor it to what you three are trying to learn. That's why I love Ignite classes. There's a whole script thing. They have a bunch of these hidden slides and studying we're supposed to know as instructors, and we can and go over everything. But the reason why KW had originally brought me in, as I'd been at other brokerages, is some of the top producers, they just volunteer and donate their time, and they teach their skills and what they specifically do. And by doing those things, it creates mass amounts of knowledge and understanding for different people. I do things just a little different than the next guy, and the next guy does things just a little different than me or the other ones that they learn from. And I feel like there's no right or wrong answer to real estate. You can kind of just hodgepodge it all together and find the path that fits best for you, and then create that and go. But there's something super fascinating. I was on the phone this morning at 5:45 in the morning, chatting with my friend, and on the East Coast, he wakes up early. And we were talking, and I said, hey, real estate market's a little crazy. He's like, yeah. And he reminded me this awesome thing. He said, I told him, I was like, I'm going to quote this, Krister. How do you think? There is no secret to real estate that we have not already learned. Everything and how to do a real estate business, grow your database, generate leads, it has already been learned and taught. We already know it. The question is, which of its principles do you want to apply to you, and which ones are you going to do? But in the end, there's literally no shortcut around it. And we already know all the answers. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? You think about the industry itself, like, it's true. We really have actually learned genuinely everything there is to learn about this industry. There's not like some super secret new innovation in it. Think about that for a second. I almost for a second wanted to disagree with him, because I went, well, NIL, like, I literally created an industry, and I teach thousands of people now just in its own specific spot. And then I laughed and went, holy Toledo's, dude, you're right. I'm not teaching them absolutely anything new to them. but not new to our world. We've known this stuff forever. How do you cultivate sales? Build rapport, clarifying questions, close, right? Objections. Very simple stuff. There's thousands of books on selling and the process of selling, and how to do it, and yada, yada, yada. So that's why when I saw this class, I'm like, but I want to take it a step deeper, and I'm glad that there's 3 of us here because I want to go a little more intimate, and we're going to figure out a game plan for all of us, shall we? That's a good one. Winner? That's the bad one. Trash. That's the good one. What do you want to bet? 50-50. We'll leave this one over here. These 2 look great. So what do you currently do? I hope you didn't think you're going to come to a class and just sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to get some freaking Yoda up here and shout off some words of wisdom. That'll be later. But we're going to dive into your personal life. Are you ready? What are you doing? Each of you, 6 months or less, right? You were 6, 2, 1. When you were like, I'm going to do real estate, what did you think? Like, what was your plan to generate sales? Go.
Well,
Let the mustache speak.
it's speaking. Well, personally, I'm also working full-time, so I'm doing both
Cool.
right now. So I'm trying to balance that while doing real estate part-time. So right now, I'm just trying to gain as much knowledge, hence, come to these. And just talk to as many people as I can, right?
Love it.
Just try to figure it out. So.
Can I sum this up in, dude, okay, let's just address this once and for all, shall we? Is it my eyes or is this crooked? There's no adjustable piece on the back of this. It's welded. So somebody's an idiot. And just welded it on. Huh. Stupid. Oh. Is that it? All right, let's sum it. You want to learn. Okay. Well, we're throwing some more in there. I like that. Talk to people. It's Nate, and that's Chris. I was about to reverse you two. Learn, talk. How do I want to sum up your job thing? What does that mean? What does that mean for your business?
That means evenings and weekends.
Yeah. Prioritize. I'm just throwing out words in your own language there. That was a great word to use, by the way. Prioritize. English is in my language. Cami, hit me. What are we doing? You're like, I'm going to become a real estate agent. Yes.
Summarize your result in 1 hour.
Talk then. Use long sentences.
I'm figuring out how I want to brand myself to set me apart from other own.
It's a great word. Hey, keep going. I like this. I like this. Ooh.
So I'm figuring out the conversations that I'm gonna be having with people and how I'm going to sell myself to them in a natural way.
Oh my goodness. I love everything about this. Okay. Keep going.
And learning that I'm asking questions, I ask a lot of questions that comes with learning, but just yesterday, I learned about 2 people that are in my SOI that I didn't know were potentially interested in real estate. And so like,
How'd you find out?
my dad will be their family friends.
Hmm.
And so like, I can reach out to them and be like, hey, I was talking with my dad, because it's like, it's not weird for me to reach out to them because they're family friends. And so I can be like, oh, hey, I heard you guys were doing this. Let me know, like I'm a realtor. What are you looking for? Like, that last time, so.
Yes. Cammy, well done. Chris? You're like, yes, all of it, yes. What else? What? Ooh. I like that. I'm just gonna make that its own line item. What do you do at open houses? Yeah,
I feel like those are.
sure,
Ever find other buyers.
yeah. Are they successful? And we're giving a positive futuristic look on this. Good. What else?
Shadowing.
Ooh.
Kind of goes with learning.
Okay, okay, I like that. Shadow. Okay, what else?
I went like on Saturday. Just went around.
Oh, you're going to open houses. Wow, kidding. You're just waiting and you're just,
I was shadowing Friday.
this sum us up? We feel good about this? Yeah. Like when you were like, is this an accurate and fair portrayal of, I want to get into real estate, this is what I'm expecting to do? What's different about it?
Sell houses.
You thought you were gonna just sell? No, please keep.
Well, I mean, that's the end goal, right? Just find people to buy and sell, right?
Mhm.
Make money with it.
Yeah.
ideally. But I mean, you have to figure it out first, right? You have to figure out all the steps, process behind everything, so. I would add like the, back end paperwork to all that as well, kind of goes with learning all that, right?
Good. I want to tell you good. Can I challenge it?
Absolutely.
So. Year one. I resonate with you because I had my job full time. We just pull this away from that speaker, it gets a lot better. There it is. I had my job full time at RedX, where I was working calls and working on my call center floor all day long for 1 year, almost literally to the month. By year one, I had still sold 12 houses. It was not a super hot market. It was pretty normal. Put a listing up, takes a couple months to go, When you look at the history and how you want to learn real estate, and it's funny because when I was especially in this role of coaching, I felt like I got this question a lot. What am I supposed to say? Right? Teach me a little bit about how I'm supposed to talk to them. And I got kind of to the point that I would just say, nah, good luck. Like, just go for it. There's no right or wrong, given there are some wrongs, but you're going to learn those quick. And that's the kind of education we have to have, right? When you talk about the voyage of starting out in real estate, we a lot of times get stuck here. And we're like, hey, I have to learn it. And that's what these classes are for, right? And outside of these classes, there are very few things. If you want to write down what I would study, read the contracts, go into your MLS, and while you're bored at night, read word for word as many of those documents and addendums that they have. It's a free education sitting right there. Because that's what you're trying to explain to somebody, right? I joke with people, I'm like, I'm not a sales agent because I'm not buying this freaking house. I don't give a crap if I'm buying this home or not. I am trying to figure out if this is the right home for you. That's the job of a buyer's agent. It's to be a valuable resource to them. So what's a valuable resource as a buyer's agent? It just goes to your value prop. I know construction inside and out. Along with open houses, go to as many new builders as you can. New builders love partnerships. Hey, it's a slow time in the market and I'm a new agent. If you wouldn't mind me just picking your brain and asking a bunch of dumb questions, I say those words. You're like, that's funny. You know, you remember starting out. I want to understand what you guys sell because I get a couple people that are interested. I want to bring them here. But I also need to know this new build process. Because you got new builds, you've got your plain Jane residential houses, you've got rentals, and you've got flips or renovations, right? That's really about, that sums it up. You got the commercial side of things that we can go on a list forever, right? But really, that's it. So my first listing, I didn't even have my license yet. I was at church, heard somebody bring up that they're moving. I'm like, forget this. Walked up to the lady and was like, I hear you're moving. Yeah. Can I sell your house? She was like, you're a real estate agent? Well, I'm not supposed to tell you that yet because I'm waiting on my license, but I passed my test. Huh? It's coming in like the next 2 weeks. She's like, oh, okay, come on over and we'll talk. You guys have already done this next step. I had a partner. I had gotten my license being mentored by someone that had been in the industry for a long time. I did not realize myself at the time she had not sold very many houses. Like she was not a slayer, but she knew what to do. And it was awesome. And they were like, okay, come on over. And I said, I don't know everything about houses, but I know houses itself, like construction stuff. That's what I had done when I dropped out of college. So I went to go work for a builder, project managing remodels and everything. Learned a ton. It was great. She's like, okay. I also knew landscaping. Why did I know landscaping? Because high school, that's what you do, right? You mow lawns. Got a job later as a park attendant, literally taking care of a park. So I knew how to clean professional bathrooms, like commercial sized bathrooms, and I knew how to take care of grass. Solid. That's all you need. So I took those skills and I was like, you should hire us. The first listing, I remember calling my mentor friend. He's like, what are you doing right now? And it was like getting dark, summertime. Well, late spring. So it was like April something. And I'm like, I'm planting flowers because we have photos tomorrow. I just thought that's what we did as agents. I'm in the yard on my hands and knees, just planting these little flowers with these people. Because I'm like, this is obviously like I have to get this house ready with them. There's a lot to do, you know? When my partner had arrived, she explained a bunch of contracts. I had no idea we had to sign papers in order to get a listing and stuff. It was wild. I remember they told me they're like, this commission thing that you guys have. I was like, yeah, what about it? Do we owe it to you? Like if we had this thing called the closing costs, I was like, what is that? They're like, do we pay you the commission on the closing costs too? And I was like, that's such a good question. No idea. No clue. I'll call Carrie, ask her. It was great. I knew one thing though. I went to my strengths and I helped them. They ended up selling. And because of that, her friend, also in our neighborhood, it's like, we also need to sell. went over to their house and I said, dude, the trees are covering the front of your home. I have a handsaw. I know what to do. They're like, what do you mean? I'm going to cut up your tree. They're like, what? It's like, no, just trust. I cut up their tree. And I did the same thing. Brought over my weed eater and mower and edged. Made it look nice. Ended up selling that house as well. And then from there, some of my friends were like, thinking about buying. And I started to sell homes. And I had no idea still what I was doing. I toured homes. I remember the night my partner was out of town on a cruise. So I was like, crap. Called my broker at the time. Mike Roberry is his name. And I was like, freaking out, Mike. I cleared my schedule tonight. I let my wife know, don't let the kids come by me. I got a lot of work to do. I've got to write 2 contracts. It's going to take all night. How funny is that? I literally thought it would take all night long. And it did. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And I just sat there and figured it out. And I submitted 2 offers. I also became really good at negotiating. I really, really enjoyed negotiating. And I still do. So if I was to have made a list at the beginning when I said, I'm going to get a real estate license, none of the things I did at the beginning, like this stuff, would have been on my list because I didn't expect that to be what I was going to find and run into. But when you grow your database, this is real, yes. But really, it just comes down to this little guy right here, right? A good sentence that I picked up from Keller Williams, it's not first to lead, it's first to relationship. You guys are all within your 6 months of having your license. Cammy, you're about to face one of the wildest things of your life. You're going to go convince people to unload somewhere between $500,000 to $1 million and trust you with it. Right? So where's your strengths? Obviously, you're good at talking to people. You're friendly. You wrote it down. Your strengths. There you go. And when you meet with someone and you start talking to them and you're like, this is what's going down. I just learned a few things. When I don't know, I'm bluntly honest. And like I said, you guys already did this step. You have a productivity coach. You have a team. So I used to leverage that. And again, productivity coaching days, I would teach our agents that we had. I would say, never say, I am brand new. Be honest with them. Okay, so let me flip that sentence a little bit. Let them know that you just got your license, but let them know that you're part of the largest market center in the state. That you are part of a team that has 20-something years of experience. Combined, you have mentors, coaches, and resources that you reach out to, and you could pick up your phone right at this second and you could call them and answer absolutely everything with them. You're hiring me because I have time. I care about you. And I want to make sure that you get the greatest deal possible. That's all I care about right now. For paperwork and legalities, I rely heavily on my team as I'm learning that process, and I'll make sure to communicate. So if I run into anything that I don't know the answer to, I'm going to be very, very blunt with you, and I'll let you know, but I'll go get that answer and report back to you with it. It's very simple. You literally just have to remember to reach back out. And I started to learn that too. It's okay to tell people that you don't know. It's really important. Again, when I go to new builds, when I do things, I tell them all the time, hey, you're using a term and I don't understand it. People are like, dude, you can't keep saying things like that. I'm like, no, you can. No matter the success level of that business owner, they respect you like crazy if you just honestly say, I understand what you're trying to say. I'm just trying to get there myself. So that's a story inside what I did with my database. Step 2. I knew, and we learned this really well here at Keller Williams, that in your database, you need to provide value to your database, right? So you can do a couple things. You could call them and give them comps. Look for houses on the MLS and send it to them. How many of you guys have already learned about the listing alerts? Listing alerts are great. I have one secret tweak to that. Send them to yourself. Because right now you got nothing but time. So email yourself as a client. It's great because you have multiple emails, right? So make yourself as one of your clients in there, accept the connection invite. And I email myself listing alerts. I preview those listing alerts myself, and the good ones, I send to them in text message because it looks like I'm personally searching, not an automated email that they just, sometimes I'll still turn on my listing alert so that they can get it, they can check it. But I've just learned if I send a couple text messages with a couple houses, it goes a whole long way with them that they feel like I'm doing something. But when you're trying to build value around your SOI, sphere of influence, you're trying to build value around what you provide to them. This is where Cami is spot on. You've got to build your brand, right? And all these faces on this wall up here, I mean, there's stuff up there for days where you can, we all have a different trick, but we all also use the same methods and tools, right? I think there are phenomenal people out there that do a really good job. I found a lot of value in my first years, again, around landscaping and construction. So when it got close to freezing, I'd spend like 3 days and I would go visit like 40 houses and I would turn off their sprinklers for them. I'd go around the houses and I just unscrew their hoses from their house. Things you don't think about. But it's cold week this week. You can literally start texting people, legit, take this and be like, this whole week, we're going to stay under freezing. Make sure you disconnect your hoses from the hose bibs. If you don't, it blocks the antifreeze valve inside of it. So if the frost goes into the hose, it goes into the house, it cracks the pipe, and they will have an insurance loss. Have their pipe break in the wall. It's a mess. It sucks. Boom. Easy way to solve it. Disconnect the hose. Super cool. Cost you nothing. They haven't blown out their sprinklers yet. See about that. If the other thing too, I made these videos. Oh, they were so funny. They had elevator music with them. Home tips with Carl, and I just went around and cleaned a bunch of people's gutters. It's like, it's the time.
So this is like clients you already have or just like
Friends. Yeah, and it got fun because when I was making these videos and the home tips with Carl videos, I was reaching out to a bunch of people, like putting on my full social media, making another home tip video. I need houses that don't have their gutters cleaned. What you get, I'll clean your gutters for free. I was like making multiple contacts then through that. And it was so freaking funny. I had these weirdos. I'm just going to call them weirdos. They're like, we want you to clean our gutters. You guys know what I'm talking about. That people in the neighborhood where they're like, anything free, we want it. And I was cracking jokes because that's when Homey was a real company back then. RIP Homey. And I'm like, I just knew their personality. So I'm like, all right, there's only one thing I have to ask. You have to promise, no contracts, but it's your word, it's your bond. You'll never use Homey to sell your house one day. Cheeky, funny. Dude, the lady calls me back. She's like, I talked to my husband and like, we actually don't know if we feel comfortable with that because we might need to use. I said, that's totally fine. I'm just not cleaning your gutters. It looks like you're a loser, dude. It was awesome, dude. I laughed so hard at that. In the end, they ended up selling one day with somebody else that did it for like $500. I mean, it was years later, but I laughed even to this day. I was like, punks. But yeah, I picked up a bunch of different people like that. Gutters was a great one. I also taught people in the spring how to like get rid of those little trees that grow by your foundation. I did a video on that. taught people how to unclog their garbage disposals. It's like simple stuff, really simple things. And your big thing too on your database, it's having your list of subcontractors. And that's your direct challenge this week. If you do not have a literal physical list in a Word document of an electrician, plumber, HVAC, of people that you know, you trust, that won't screw them over, you need to have those written down. Names, phone numbers, how does somebody reach them? Because when your clients ask, or they buy or sell a home, you got to be able to say, here. So I came from contracting. I stayed in touch with a lot of people. And for 2 years, at the beginning of my license, I did property management. So I'd made a lot of good friends in the subs world. I still have them to this day, still close friends. Most of them have ended up buying homes with me, which is a big compliment to me because they have access to hundreds of agents. I'm like, boom, I love this. When I'm closing transactions, that is an easy value thing to do. Your commissions are nice. They're sweet. Take a couple $100 out of the commission and have a tune-up done. Have all the furnaces tuned up, filters changed out. Have them check the water heater, do a drain of the water heater. Your subcontractors love you because you're sending consistent, normal work. Your clients are obsessed with you because nobody else does that. You're spending a couple $100 of your commission, just don't even think that it's part of the commission. It just bills it out. Easy things to do. Makes a lot of good stuff. So those are easy ways to grow relationships because it's not first to lead, it's first to relationships. Your other things as you start to grow your databases. Growing your database becomes part of everything that you do. Chris, what do you do for fun? Besides sit and learn about real estate. Oh yeah, dude. Do you have a group? Like a little tribe? For real?
Yeah. Big group.
Do they live here?
No, they're all over the place.
Good.
A lot of-
Do you have any idea how much money that is for you? With a license, what can you do? You can refer people. And they are military. They are moving constant. That is literally a community focused center of Keller Williams, KW Military, where you refer across the military network to other agents that are military as well. And they're assisting and they're used to passing commissions, 25, 30%, whatever it is. So your gaming now has a new meaning to it. You're not gaming just so that you can make friendships to then refer people, right? No, you're gaming because you love to game. But in your gaming, as people get to know you, they better know that you do real estate. So then it becomes a really fun factor. Like, how do you bring up what you do without sounding like a salesperson? Ah, dude, how's your day today? It's good. Yeah. How's your day?
Good. Seriously.
Dude, it was all right. I had to just a mess in my work. Just a new thing in a contract I've never ran across before. It was weird, but I was glad to get it done, but it took up most of my day today. What about you though? What were you doing? And that conversation's rolling. You're going to be like, what is that? 3-4 times of those kinds of conversations. They're like, okay, hold up. What do you do again? I just buy and sell houses. Sometimes I tell people like when I lose a house, when I lose a contract, it's like the most valuable thing to me. How's your day? Ah, it was good. A little rough. Had to find some positivity. Lost a crap ton of money today. Oh, shoot. Bitcoin? No. Freaking real estate. Oh. But then I'm not, but I always lead positive, right? Like, but it's all right. Like, it's always what's best for them. I'm happy that they pulled out. I was really glad I suggested they should. But obviously that it bites. Man, think about that. If you lose a contract, but it turns into better business for you, your friends are already building that idea of, well, he really doesn't care. if he gets the money or not. He cares about the relationship, that they get the best deal. Chris, you're like, yeah. Oh, killed you, just like I killed that last Repsy. And he'll be like, what is Repsy? So freaking funny. Nate, what do you do? Oh, get out of here. Dude, that's too easy right there. Yeah, a bazillion of them. My favorite referring client, that was his closing gift. I had a Home Depot account opened for him, and he'd just go get his Milwaukee tools. He had passed me like 8 houses that I closed. And he's like, our max is $250 of value when they're non-licensed, right? It's kind of the thing that started everything I do, because I said, hey, if you just get a referral license, I can start paying you 25% for these. Because like right now, I'm just giving you a bunch of crap like lithium batteries. It's not that cool, you know? He's like, I don't have time for that. I said, your wife does. He's like, we've got 6 kids. I was like, it's just videos, right? It's just videos and passing a test. So they did it. They passed 3 since then. And now I pay commission, 25% to her. Easy way to do it. Besides Milwaukee Tools, what do you do? Can't see your hand. Are you married?
Nope.
Not married. So what do you do? Social life.
Uh,
Hang out with a bunch of contractors and talk about tools. It's
Yeah.
like,
I don't know, I'm always trying to do something, but it's gotta ski fast.
cool. Skiing's great. Who do you take skiing?
I've got some friends. I honestly, I have a lot of friends who are my same age, who I just need to start talking to because they're all kind of in the age of maybe wanting to buy a house. Right? So socially, I just start talking. I have one friend I'm talking to right now, but
It's just opening your mouth.
yeah, exactly.
Here's an idea. Database. You like to ski. Your family's around here?
I have 2 siblings too.
Okay. How long have you lived in Utah?
6 years.
You got any rich friends?
I'm sure I do.
For reals? And you like, who's your managers or your manager's manager? The
Well,
boss's boss?
we're all over the nation, so here in Utah,
You've got one? So I would take skiing. You got enough money to buy a second pass?
Yeah.
Buy a second pass.
just take people skiing.
Now this gets a little really, really wild. Are you ready for this hack, buddy? If you start to market to your dudes that you play your games with, what consoles do you play on? You're an Xbox or PC? Wait, PC. Oh, that's just computer, isn't it? You want to upgrade any of your stuff? That's a real question. Do you want to upgrade any of your stuff? Like, yeah. What if I told you you could upgrade all your stuff and call it a tax write-off? What if I told you that every time you go skiing, you are no longer paying taxes because you're writing off all of your stuff? You skiers that actually snowboard. You snowboard, okay? We call it skiing, but I'm like, yeah. You can get another board, gear, and all of that is a tax write-off. Guys, my cows, chickens, my hunting dog, business expense, all of it, everything, which means all the ammunition I buy needs to also be hunting. Everything is a business expense, properly calculated and sent to my accountant. But why? I would invite clients to hunt birds with me. I would invite clients to come help with cows because people love cows. I don't know why. It's weird. No, just normal cows. They're all black. Well, some are brown. But the calves are cool. And we had 2 years ago, we had 2 calves. Their moms abandoned them. So we had 2 calves being bottle fed at our house in the backyard. I invited every person and a dog to come over to experience feeding a calf a bottle and petting it. Just money. It's money. So every time, again, that you run into your stuff, how do you turn that into business? Tammy, what do you do? Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here. Amazing. It's phenomenal. Chris, you're married. You guys socialize together? Like call other couples over? Good. Your hands covered. Married. You guys, the game nights, couples friends all over the place? Good. Keep going. What else? It's good. Any of you guys go to the gym?
Go to
Oh,
the gym.
that's true.
I've closed many deals from the gym. Weird, isn't it?
Back for the gym, real estate.
No. I talked to them about gym. And we become friends. So like for me, I go to the gym 10 to midnight every night. If you want to come to Vasa, welcome to come to Spanish Fork. I pay to have the buddy pass. I can take any of my friends. We go steam. And then afterwards, I have a whole little routine that I go do. I've made friends with all of the dudes that we can. Like we have this little thing. It's like a 52-year-old man, solid meathead, just bald, probably does steroids. Right? I love him. He's so freaking funny. I got my buddy Parker. Parker sells solar. He runs a solar team across the nation, remote. Preston's like 19, figuring out his life. Got some kids in high school that were like hang out with us, which is kind of whatever. And then we got a random group of some amigos that are literally sometimes they've been arrested legit. And it's like, but this group of people, we've all become common friends. So if I do it for a couple reasons. If I don't go to the gym, I have 3 or 4 people that are going to message me and say, where are you? I have multiple different reasons for that. And also, as soon as we finish the gym at midnight, we go across the street to In-N-Out. And this random group of people are eating at In-N-Out at midnight. Got to get a protein. And we socialize and talk. 2 girls are like 20. And I feel weird because they call me old. And I'm like, I'm not old, man. Yeah, my kid's like not that far away from your age, but like whatever. That's weird. But they ask about dating advice and they want to like, there's this one guy, I don't know how to talk to him, so I'll intro him for him. Like just random group of people. What produces from it? Real estate. Because relationships happen. They could see when the day's rough. What do you do for work again, Carl? Just real estate. I'm basically unemployed. That's what I tell people. They love it. They love it. Oh, dude, the market. Tell me about it. Like, just wait. Just wait. So guys, everything that you do in your database, everything that you do in your day, again, I try not to live my life like that it's greed centered. I don't care. And this is going to be the biggest piece of talking about this and talking about different ways that you guys are already socializing. The minute that you switch your personality to, I'm just trying to get a transaction out of this, they can sense that, right? So can you, or are you prepared? I should say that because it's going to happen, to help someone that is not going to use you. Let that sink in. More times than I can count. My own sister.
Did you use you?
Rude.
She did that whole swinging thing, ran away from her husband, lived with that dude. They used his friend to buy the next house. I had helped her sell her first home and buy her other home with her husband. There's a little politics in it. I called her and was like, are you kidding me? It was like, I helped you run away from your husband and move your stuff. That's my sister. I can speak bluntly to her. You didn't use me? Well, we just didn't want to like make it personal. Personal? Get out of here. So how can you be prepared that this is going to happen? That your own family really will use somebody else at some point. My wife's family sucks. They rarely use me. I hate it all the time. I tell her all the time. I'm like, dude, your aunts and uncles are the worst. Like, she's like, I know they have problems with you. It's because I'm too awesome. Hey, buddy. Wow, you look good. Jeez.
You guys are looking best right now.
So one of my dear friends from college, I had reached out to him and he had closed on a home just down the street from me in Springville. And it was a duplex and it was trashed. And he didn't find out in his inspection. He didn't see all the problems. Swallow your pride. And I went over and I helped him remodel the house. He had closed that house with another real estate agent. And I helped him with the remodel because I lived right by it, just free hands. Again, I didn't have a lot of stuff going on at the time, so keep yourself busy. I had done property management for 2 years. I knew what contracts to give him. I wasn't going to manage it for him because I didn't have that running in my license and doing that, but you can do it for free, right? Like you can say, I can't represent you. I can't give you legal advice, but what I can do is tell you what I've ran into before in my history of knowing what rental stuff is, right? I can send you places to go to find good contracts to use, etc. Right? That's a good way to help. I'm really good at open houses. So if you want me to hold an open house for when you have like a hot market of rentals and just let like 10 people go through, and I just tell them, oh no, I'm his real estate agent. I'm not your property manager. I just know about homes and rentals, so I'm here to talk to you about it. His tenants you become friends with because one day they'll want to buy a home. But I also never really cared that he didn't use me. Since then, he's bought 3 other homes with me because he realized, dang, I didn't even use him. I never even paid him. And he put his effort and resources, and the other agent didn't give a crap. They closed the transaction and we're out. He went to go get ready to sell it, and the agent started calling him. You ready? Oh, no. He goes, sorry, I'm going with somebody else. He's been helping me for like 1.5 years. I checkmated that guy. It's like, get out of here. It's wild, right? So if you can swallow the pride on knowing that literally some of your best, closest friends, unfortunately, are going to use other people. Many people will now walk into builders, sign builder contracts without knowing it. You will be cut out of a transaction. Do you still have the courage to go and help them move in? Be there and support them. Just prepare for it, because literally it is everywhere. It happens all the time. And a lot of my friends do this and they don't even mean to. Because we now sign by unrepresented agreements, right? And they don't understand that, so they just go tour homes. I'm like, bro, that was a free commission for me. Like, I'm not gonna say that, but like, come on, man. You're literally wanting to buy this house. They call me and they're like, I'm so excited. I wrote an offer. And I'm like, yay. Dang, dude. All right, whatever. So there you go. Keep things rolling like that. What else do we have on database? I like that you guys already all have each of your things. Get creative on what it is that you want to do. Check the time. Oh, dude, it's only been an hour. Hit me.
Where does that commission go, right? If they're not using an agent, right, they just aren't paying any commission.
Depends. Like a builder will, usually a builder incentivizes their sales agents that if they don't have another buyer's agent, a builder's agent can get like an extra 0.5%, and then obviously the builder pockets the rest. Some builders are even crazy and they'll just straight up tell you like, hey, if you don't bring a buyer's agent, we'll knock 3% off the price. That hurts. That hurts a lot. Yikes. I had one that was 2 months ago, Salisbury. Straight up told my clients they'd went without me. Same thing. They just were excited. They went, met the model home. And I was like, gosh, like we've already picked out lots and given them a check. And I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm getting in on this. They let us know that if we don't have an agent, we save 3%. The crazy thing is this guy is I help them so much with different things that he still told his wife, no, I don't care. We're using him. That was wild to me that they chose that. I'm like, crap. Hope I do good. But that's where we're stuck, right? That's what we're trying to figure out.
How often does that happen?
All the time. People go all the time to builders and open houses. They're just excited. So that's where it's really important. That's why we say it's to stay top of mind. So it's first relationship, but then after relationship, it's top of mind because I wish we could write a book actually about this. Somebody's got to be starting one. It's the new generation that's coming through. Hope she's not watching this. She's just texting me. My assistant, she works full time for me. Let me know. We've been looking at homes. Like, dude, you literally work for an agent. Like, well, we just got excited over the weekend and we just got going. I'm like, that's the demographic that we're running into now. I want information. I want it now. I see house. I want to go see. And it gets like wild, right? And that's where you lose it. So there's a couple ways to combat that. The majority of the homes I lose now, speaking bluntly, is because people know I'm too busy. I am running way too many things. And I have a national business that's cruising and they all know about it. So they know that I'm too busy and they feel like it's an inconvenience to touch base with me. At the beginning of my career, I never had that ever. I just had people that were inconsiderate and didn't understand, like my sister, and they just, whatever. That's what I would run into. Now it's really turned into when it happens, I know it's for that. And they'll be like, we just didn't want to bother you. So how do you combat that, Nate? Yeah. Mhm.
Touch points.
Are you good at texting?
Say I'm average. Texting.
Needs to be the best. Chris, are you good at responding to people? Cammy, don't be one of those people that when I send you a message 3 days later, it's my bad. For real though. If you have that, well, you get this, you do sales, right? But you have to treat, I kind of hate this part, but you have to treat every single message like that. Whoa, where was the fine print of that when we signed up for being real estate agents? So I have a trick to this. Here's my hack. Do you remember that I said I get done at the gym at midnight and I go to In-N-Out? I text at least 5 to 10 people. Then every once in a while, not TMI, but you guys know this, you know, like that early morning hour, got to go to the bathroom emergency that hits in. You're like this, like why? I reach over and every once in a while I grab my phone and I send messages. Or when I write emails at night, I use the stupid thing and I say schedule, send 6:23 a.m. Scheduled to send. What? I have created this perfect world that my clientele believe they did for a long time. Most of them still believe it, but I literally do not sleep. That's wild. I sleep plenty. But it works. Because your one objective is they don't want to inconvenience you. And they're awake at 11:30 at night, looking on their phone because they just had this random thought. And they were scrolling, and somebody's Instagram had a house. And they were like, maybe I should buy that. I want to move. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, do I know any real estate agents to reach out to? And they got to know, would this really upset Nate if I just texted him a random question at 11:30 at night or 1 a.m? Not me. 90% of the time they'll get a reply. I'm like, boom. What's up? They're like, dude, you never sleep, do you? Nope. I'm here. And it's funny because even the messages, and I teach this a lot too. A phone call, a message, you may not be able to, right? Like you're on a date. You're like, I can't be rude. But when I'm on a date with my wife, she knows the rules, like what we have. This is our income. So if one comes in, and you've already seen me do it like 4 or 5 times, where I don't care that I'm teaching a class. You watched me just, that was an urgent person that needed it. I just sent a quick reply just saying, Foop. There are messages building up in a little bit. You just check it. And if there's any urgency to it, you just send a message saying, teaching, reach back out in a couple hours. That's it. I'm tied up at the second. I answer the phone all the time. Hey, brother, I'm in the middle of this. Do you mind if I call you right back? Set a doggone reminder on your phone so you don't forget. That's bad. But this weekend, all Saturday, I went out for a pheasant hunt. 3 calls in the middle of it. I'm actually out here with a bunch of people right now. Not a good time to talk for me. Can I call you back on my drive home? It's going to be about this time. And all of a sudden they're like, fine, right? Like he's good. Jay was fine. Adam was fine. Craig was fine. Like I just called him afterwards. Touch base with them and respond. You just have to answer. That's it. So first to relationship, first to respond and be available. But again, I don't want you to think like Chris is over there. He's like, there's no freaking way, dude. I'm going to be plugged into my game. Yeah. But you could, right? You can just set your phone that when it vibrates, you just look. Go ahead. You play. I'm feeling like you play shooting games. You just go hide in a corner somewhere. And you're just like, hang on. Clash of Clans, is that your thing?
Played Clash, but
That's not your current jam. Just be like, hang on, guys. Don't start the raid. I've got to talk about real estate. I do real estate. Be like, wow, thanks. It's cool. All right, what else do we want to know? We talked a lot about database, huh? Do we feel energized and ready?
So you use command, right?
My assistant uses command.
First started, I guess you probably didn't have command, but
I
we
have,
command now, so we're just gonna fill out command with all of our data.
ooh, that's dangerous. A lot of the big teams, well, okay, it's twofold. Command is phenomenal because it has its built-in messaging platform, birthday reminders. You're gonna need to do a transaction with someone, you have to have them in there anyways. So command's very important. I don't think I have my phone in command. I think it's a hodgepodge. It's all over the place. I had a CRM for a while that I was using that like was setting call reminders for me. And then my assistant just like, she does her own thing where they come and they send me admin messages and they say, this week you're calling last names M through S, right? So I know I have, if they have a last name of this, then I'm going to call them. So that's more like a manual thing. Command's great because you can set reminders and stuff, but like the big teams, a lot of them will use like a Follow Up Boss, different CRMs. I think the important answer to that is you just need to have something, whatever that is. But yeah, I've tried a lot of different tricks on this because SOI and database, this is all that I do. I do not lead. I do not prospect. I'm pretty blunt even because I'm to the point where I'm spread too thin on what I do in my life. So I will, as dumb as this is, I probably turned away 5 deals this last year. Just telling people not my wheelhouse. I will give them to you. But I don't like working with new people. So it's hard. They don't know me. They don't know my humor. They don't know what's sarcastic or not, right? Like they don't know. I struggle sometimes. I always hate that part of the relationship where I have to show them that I'm available, knowledgeable. They're like trying to test that out, right? And I feel like I'm getting quizzed and tested. Meanwhile, you work with your friends, they're like, dude, he's the greatest. Like he knows. He knows. And I don't have to like fight it. Those kinds of people, they're just organized in my phone in groups so that I can message them in with a shortcut. It's like a shortcut on your iPhone where you can mass text, but individually. It's very convenient. So you can go through and select groups. So as long as they're in a group category, SOI A, B, and C. But we do like the Jakers events. You guys were here for that. Or like they rented the pumpkin patch and you could buy tickets and give them to your clients. Those are things I would text my group A. Time for Jakers again. Do you guys want to go? Let me know how many tickets you would need. That kind of thing. Group A, it's freezing this week. This is your friendly reminder. You need to disconnect your hose bibs. Nobody remembers to do that. Things like that. But it's good. What else? Hit it, Kim.
Well, it was about builders.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the difference? Like, negotiating like, with this person?
Builders, there is no negotiating. They set the rules usually. 90% of them, there is no, they're genius. I hate it. I honestly don't love new builds, to be straight with you. And it's for that reason. So this is my sales rep right here, right? You are my buyer. You're the manager. I'm going to go, let's say, well, Cammy, you're going to want, what do you want? Different flooring? 10,000 off the price? Something. You come to me. I'm going to go, okay. And you're going to really tell me that you want this, right? Like, Carl, go get this. Okay. Nate, Cammy really wants 10,000 off the price. Can we just get some help on closing costs? Da, 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 da. You're going to go, let me take it to my manager. Every time. And he's sitting there. He doesn't know who Cammy is. He doesn't give a crap. He's just looking at the numbers and goes, yes or no. 90% of the time, I don't think it even goes from here to there.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, he just goes in a different room. He just sits there for 5 minutes and then he comes back and says, sorry, manager's listening.
If it gets to that, like I've tried before where I bypass this one and I get a hold of that one, he does the same thing. Let me get a hold of the sales director. Let me get a hold of the sales vice president. I mean, it just goes up the ladder from builders. The builders suck. Or they'll say, if it's like a small builder, they'll be like, let me get a hold of the builder. No. But then I have to go back and tell you, the answer's no. And then you're going to tell me again, really compelling arguments of why. And I'm like, girl, I hear you. I know this sucks. So I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, you go to a builder, there's a few things to learn. One, we are not in control. It might be a buyer's market. Even when we get a contract, we are donezo. Like there is no give. in the end, they do that blue tape event where you walk around and put tape on everything that has a little imperfection and stuff. They finish up. We always suggest as agents, get a third-party home inspection, even though the county checked it, the builder checked it, like just peace of mind. Worst case scenario, you spend $700 and you get a clean, perfect bill of health, looks good. Best case scenario, I mean, I guess that is best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we find something. Dude, we find something. This is the crazy thing I have to explain. It's not even a guarantee they're going to fix it. But I'm going to beg. And that's an art to builders. When you go to builders, and I do warn my clients of this ahead of time, I don't want you to think I'm not a bulldog, but working with a builder, there's an art. If we are the whiny clients, they kind of treat us the opposite. Squeaky wheel does not get the grease on this one. Like for reals. It's, you kind of get blackballed and you start to ask for legit things and they're annoyed. So let's not do that. Let's go to the house. Let's do the blue tape event, but let's not nitpick. Then when it's time to ask for things, I'm going to ask very nicely, and you're going to see me compliment them a lot, even if I know you're mad. So again, don't think that I'm like laying over and flopping, but I know how to work human psychology. This is where it comes down. I'm going to compliment the sub, the project manager. I'm going to bring energy drinks when I visit the job site. We're going to be the cool house. And then in the end, when we need stuff, we're more likely to get it then. The builders, worst. Yeah, it's terrible. Because all negotiating power is taken out. Do you imagine how easy that would be if if another agent called you and was like, well, we want this. And you were like, well, it's not the seller's decision. It's the vice president of the bank. Like, let me go to the seller. And if the seller likes it, they'll send it on to the bank. And if the bank likes it, they'll decide yes or no. Imagine your power that you'd have in negotiating, but people know that. So emotions get involved and they're like, well, then we're walking and your seller panics and they're like, give it to him. It's crazy. Yeah. Builders are wild, but they are good ones. I should say that. So just find them. What else? Chris, what do you got back there?
You said that a lot of times with builders, you get cut out of the deal because
Here and there.
clients directly to them. What's a good way to end that?
Make actual business cards and give them to your clients. So as soon as somebody wants to talk real estate or even ask potential questions, give them your card, give them a picture of a card, something to that effect, like a digital. Nobody carries around physical cards. Give them something digital and just explain that very bluntly to them. You do not inconvenience me by letting me know that you want to go look at homes. When you want to go look at new builds or model homes, I like to go with you. They expect me to go with you. So please rely on me and put me to work. Just an honest conversation. Then they're like, if you find a for sale by owner, send it to me. I'm super excited. I'll just call them 90% of the time. I would say even 95. I just call them and I'm like, you're listing by yourself as a for sale by owner because you don't want to pay a sales agent, right? Yeah. Want to pay a buyer's agent? Like, are you offering anything? Yeah. 2%, 3%, whatever it is, right? Good with that. Can I tour the home with my clients? Sure. You don't have a lockbox, so how do you want me to get in? It's just that simple. So just easy conversations. It's a good one. What else?
Switch to working full time and doing real estate, right? Started,
Oh, dude, it sucked so bad.
make that switch. Why?
My boss was getting pretty pissed because I was getting busy enough that I was like during lunch. I learned very quickly you have to respond immediately, so that kind of started getting in the way. I made it about a year. And I was like, I gotta do this. The hard thing for my boss actually tried to fire me. The downside is that mentor that I told you about that sent me 8 clients, that was his boss. So I had a little bit of power there, which I feel bad that I had to use, but I had to protect. I was like, dude, I need the insurance still, and I needed a stable income. When I finally made the jump, I thought I had lined everything up and I was ready. And I went through probably about 2 months with no commission. Oh, that was my first time in my entire life not having income. And I panicked. I freaked out. I mean, I was terrified. But I was working on a flip at the time. We ended up selling the flip. I got a good chunk of change. And I quickly just learned this is the stress. So I always joke with people, I'm like, when it's time to make the jump, there's no shortcut around it. Have a bunch of money saved up because you're going to blank for a couple months. You just live off the savings and stay consistent. And then when you make the jump full time, you full time?
The old side.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever just like wake up and you're like, what do I do today? You're a planner. I love that. Dude, you're more my guy. Come on. Yeah, that's my guy. I was like, "Ah." Literally last night, I was going to bed and I was just like, dude, nothing. I'm like, Monday's gonna be sweet. I actually planned this morning to clean up all my tools from a project this weekend. I built a thing and I was like, oh, I'll go clean it up. Blah, blah. And then like 3 something in the morning, I woke up and looked at my calendar like it just, and I was like, my teacher died. I mean, yeah. I was like, that just ruined everything. Well, I scheduled it. Rich sends a bunch of reminders. He's amazing. I knew it was there. I just hadn't looked at my calendar. But it gets to that point where like that's what that coach was telling me this morning. You have to stay consistent. Because that's the dangers is you start and you make the jump. You could ski every day. Nobody can. You could do whatever you want. And that's why I started doing like stuff. Like I started mowing lawns for free. I knew how to mow lawns, so I would just mow lawns in the summer. Mow a bunch of lawns for free. My family would be like, my dad just works all the time. I'm like, no, I ain't making money on any of this. But it's like you just get that reputation of just being busy and working, and it gets there. So when it's time, you're gonna know. I would do it sooner rather than later. If you can have, here's a blunt answer. 6 months of your expenses covered, make the jump. Because you're never gonna like truly be able to walk away from it until you're like hungry for it. You tend to not get hungry for it unless your back's against the wall. And all of a sudden you're like, I didn't make any money. And I struggled that first month, like not having a job. And I was like, I could wake up at 9:30 or 10 and nobody cares. And then I learned that's really not good. That's bad. And I got to get motivated and find ways to motivate myself. So then you get going. So let's call your boss together in this class and let's quit right now. First, buy the membership to Sundance, get a second pass. Do you get free tools?
I get discounts, yeah. But
Bro, that's the greatest gift you can. If I was you right now, I'd be buying those things and I'd be finding your best potentials for like good business and giving them some gifts. Big time. Yeah, I shell out a lot of money on things for my clients.
you said there was, well, I guess gifts, but for referrals is 250, right?
Referrals 250.
Gifts, is whatever.
Does not matter what you do. Your client closes on a home, make it special. A basket of crap, nobody gives it, A 5-burner stainless steel gas grill. Every single time they grill, they will think of you. every time they look outside. Yes, engrave your name on it. Things like that. No,
Open, you just open the
Carl.
yeah,
top and it has your face.
yeah, it's like boom. Dude, you can get really cool things. Lawnmowers, 200 something bucks for like a good Honda dual blade, something nice. Easy, right? They'll think of you every time. There's a lot of cool things you can go get someone. And like I said, you have the tool hookup. That's cool. You can get some things like that. Do not tell the builders. I don't know them. Okay. Just don't tell them that. I went to this class today and he's talking about how he hates it. Like what? Screw Keller Williams. Yeah, if you ever run across him, he sucks. Oh. Yeah, that's good. But that's a good question. What else? I think we're about there, so. Yeah, we really can. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. What do we got? D'Angelo. Perfect. Did you say you want my phone number? Yeah, 801 616 1244.
The NIL, have you traveling down to Texas at all, or?
I'm done for this year. My last one was a couple weeks ago. It was great. I got to get taught by Daddy Gary. So nobody calls him that, just so you know. No, he doesn't. You would not be okay with that. Bad jokes. Bad jokes. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's wrap that up. Shut off the Zoom.